The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the removal and installation of a Woodard sling. The tools you're going to need are a cordless drill with a 3/16 power bit, a pair of vice grips, snub nose preferred so that you don't tear your sling, a piece of cloth that you're going to fold over when we get to that point, jar of Vaseline, standard screwdriver, a utility knife, pair of scissors, and a rubber mallet. First step, you're going to take your screwdriver, put it in the end cap, insert it in the top here, and just pry it out. You're going to do that with all four of them. Turn the chair around and get the top back to you. The next step, you'll take your utility knife or scissors and cut the sling right down the middle, and then take your hand up top and pull it down just a little bit. Go down to the bottom and just slide the sling right out of the frame. You're going to do the same on the other side. Next up, you're going to take your drill, take the bolts out of the right rail, take your bar out, set it off to the side, because you're going to need it later. Now you're going to take your new sling, and notice the Woodard tag right here. That goes to the top back of the frame up here, so you're going to install this side first. And to make installation easier, you're going to want to cut the sling cord about 1 inch from the bottom of the sling. Turn your frame to the side and insert the sling in the top of the rail. Continue to feed it down until you get the sling all the way to the top of the frame. Okay, you're going to want to save this piece that you cut off of your sling for the next step here. You want to take your rail, take a little bit of Vaseline to make installation easier, and put it in the top of the rail just like this. The sling will slide down in there easier. Then take your sling, feed it into the top of the rail. And some fabrics, depending on how stiff they are, will be a little more difficult. So you have to be patient. You have to pull at this end too. You're going to want to pull your sling right down to the bottom of the rail. And now you're going to take your frame and set it on the ground. Take your bar. Now take the attached sling or the attached rail and push it down about 6 inches. you can pull this off. Insert your bar in the top hole of the sling rail, and then your other bar at the other end of the bar in the other hole on the other side. Then you'll take your cloth and fold it over, I would say at least 2 or 3 times. Put it on the edge of the sling. Take your vice grips and put them on the edge and adjust them accordingly so that it clamps firm but not too tight, because you don't want to rip the sling. Now you want to pull this up about 1 inch from the top of the rail. You want to make sure that your sling lines up at the bottom, because you want those to be flush. You'll be pulling these up later at the end of installation. Now you take your frame and put it back up on the table. You'll take the bolt that you took out earlier, and put it in the bottom hole of the sling like this. Grab the arm and pull it toward yourself. Put the bolt all the way in until it snugs up. Then go to the other side. Make sure that it's snug. Now you're going to take your frame again, turn it around. You're going to want to use your last bolt here and line the rail up with the hole in the frame. And you don't want to put it all the way in, because when you're pulling this sling up, you want it to be a little loose at the top. That's why the front is tight, because that's going to stay in place so it doesn't move on you. Otherwise, the sling will move up on the front of the rail. And next up, you're going to take your frame and set it on the floor, just like this. And you may want a neighbor or friend to help you out with this part of the installation, to hold down the front of the frame. You're going to take your vice grips and your cloth, and you're going to put it on the edge here again. And you're going to want it to clamp down pretty firm so that it doesn't slide out on you, because there's a lot of pressure on the sling at this point. You're going to put your foot on the back stretcher of the frame right here to hold the frame down while you're pulling on it. And your partner here is going to hold down the front of the frame as illustrated. And you're going to pull up on the sling to get it to the top of the rail. You're going to go to the other side and do the same procedure. Foot on the rail, pull the sling up. Okay, now remove your cloth, vice grips. Then you're going to take your frame, put it back up on the table. Then you're just going to tighten these bolts down until they're snug. Go and do the other side. So you see no gap in between the rail and the frame. Now you're going to take your knife or scissors and cut the excess cord off. Be careful not to cut your fingers. Take your 2 end caps and your rubber mallet. Insert the end cap and tap it in. Turn your chair around. Do the same thing on the other side. Take your end caps. Insert them in the rails. Tap them down and then you're done. Thank you for purchasing Woodard furniture and have a nice day.